Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the News Today edition of 1st and 2nd February. My name is Anuj and I will be taking today's session. In today's session, we will be covering 6 main news and around 6 quick updates. There is no place or personality in news for today. So in the first main news, we will be covering about the 16th Finance Commission report which has been presented in the Lok Sabha by the Finance Minister. Then we will be covering about the MSMEs as the union budget focuses on creating champion MSMEs. Then we will be covering about the integrated program for the textile sector which has been announced in union budget of 2026 and 27. Then we will be covering about the Biopharma SHAKTI which has been announced in the union budget, and it will make the India's biomanufacturing at the global level. Then we will be covering about the orange economy as the finance minister has announced plan to boost the orange economy in the same budget. Then we will be covering about the Bharat-VISTAAR for agriculture development. It has been proposed in this same budget. Then we will be briefly covering 6 quick updates. This is the brief about today's session. Let us deep dive into today's session. Before starting of today's session, you might all be aware that union budget has been announced. So there might be reporting in newspaper, there might be various videos regarding the union budget. You have to understand that how to read the union budget. First of all, you should be very clear about the basic regarding the budget, such as that the term budget is not mentioned in the constitution. It is mentioned as annual financial statement in the article 112. So such type of basic information should be there, what all are there in the budget, how the expenditure is taking place, from where the receipt is there, which department prepare the budget. Department of Economic Affairs under the Ministry of Finance prepare the budget. So before starting the first news, let us look at the previous year question and only the question of year 2025. By these questions, you will understand the importance of budget and how you can prepare effectively to clear the prelims examination. Before starting of the first news, we will be discussing the 4 PYQ of the year 2025. That means from the last year. Let us discuss them. First PYQ. First of all, the question number 61. These questions are not from CSET, they are from GS1 paper only. So question 1, suppose the revenue expenditure is 80,000 crores and the revenue receipt of the government are 60,000 crore rupees. The government budget also shows borrowing of 10,000 crores and interest payment of 6,000 crores. Which of the following statements are correct? First of all, the revenue deficit. How to calculate the revenue deficit? That is the revenue expenditure and the difference of the revenue receipt. That is 80,000 crore minus 60,000 crores. So that will be 20,000 crore. That means first statement is correct. Then what is the fiscal deficit? Fiscal deficit is the total borrowing of the government and that is 10,000 crores. That means the second statement is also correct. Then the last statement is about primary deficit. That is fiscal deficit minus the interest payment. That will amount to 10,000 crore minus 6,000 crores. That will be 4,000 crores of the primary deficit. That will be answer will be D, 1, 2 and 3. So your basic concept should be very clear when you will be going through the budget. In this year budget, there has been terms like STT, Security Transition Tax, or the sovereign gold bond. There has been talk about these terms. So you should be knowing clearly like what are these terms and what are they for. Now let us discuss the second PYQ from the last year. A country's fiscal deficit stand at 50,000 crores. It is receiving 10,000 crores through non-debt creating capital receipt. The country's interest liabilities are 1,500 crores. What is the gross primary deficit? We have discussed about primary deficit here, and gross primary deficit will be the gross fiscal deficit, that is 50,000, and the interest payment minus the interest payment, that will be the 1,500 crores. Then the answer would be 48,500 crores. So the answer would be A. Now let us look at the other PYQs which was there in the last year. These PYQs are for you to understand that how to read the budget. The next PYQ. Consider the following statements. Capital receipt create a liability or causes a reduction in the asset of the government. Borrowing and disinvestment are capital receipt. Then interest received on loan create a liability for the government. Okay, let us understand this third statement. Okay, so suppose you have taken loan from the bank. So you will be paying the interest to the bank. So this loan is asset for the bank and a liability for you. So here let us understand it. Interest received on loans create a liability. That's a wrong statement, because whoever is getting the interest, that is the asset. If you are paying the interest to the bank, that loan is asset for the bank and liability for you. So this third statement is incorrect. That means we can strike out this, we can strike out this, and we can also strike out this. Then the only answer would be A, 1 and 2 only. That means the first statement and the second statement are the correct statement. Let us read those two statements. First, capital receipt create a liabilities or causes a reduction in the assets of the government. That is a correct statement. Then borrowing and disinvestment are the capital receipt. Please go through the revenue side of the capital and the capital side of the expenditure and the receipt for the government. Now let us look at the another question from the last year itself. Statement 1. In India, income from the allied agriculture activities like poultry, farming and wool rearing in the rural area is exempted from any tax. There was a lot of debate around taxing of the agriculture income. But it is not there that it is exempted from any tax. Presently, it is not tax, but state and PRIs can tax the agriculture income. That means this statement will not be correct. Second, in India, rural agriculture land is not considered a capital asset under the provision of the Income Tax Act of 1961. All the land which is not agriculture can be considered as capital, but the capital or the rural agriculture land is not considered capital under the Income Tax Act of 1961. That means this statement is correct. There was a lot of debate around the taxing of agriculture income last year. That's why this question, and you can read it from the union budget as well, like what all are taxes, indirect taxes, direct taxes and everything. So the answer will be that statement 1 is not correct, but the statement 2 is correct. D would be the answer. So with solving of these PYQ, now let us move to the first main news for today. All the main news for today are in and around of the union budget, which has been announced yesterday. This was the first time that a union budget was announced on Sunday. So let us discuss the main news for today, and the first main news for today is regarding the 16th Finance Commission. So the 16th Finance Commission report has been presented in the Lok Sabha by the Finance Minister. Okay, so this is the context, and it is related to GS paper 3, where syllabus talks about government budgeting. Let us discuss this news in detail. First of all, the development we have already discussed, the context, the background of 16th Finance Commission was that it was constituted in the year 2023, and the chairman for this was Dr. Arvind Panagria. It is about 16th Finance Commission. In one of the PYQ, they have asked about the chairman of the Finance Commission, and the government has accepted its key recommendation for the implementation year of from the 2026-27 to 2030-31. That is for 5 years. Let us understand about the Finance Commission and the provision related to the Finance Commission. First of all, it is a constitutional body. Why I am saying so? Because it has been established under Article 280 of the Constitution, and it is constituted by President of India every 5 years. So the basic fact that it is a constitutional body and it is established under the Article 280 of the Constitution. Then it has chairman and 4 other members. They are also appointed by the President. And under Article 281, the government lays the Finance Commission's report and action taken memorandum before the Parliament. So this is basic about the Finance Commission. So there are a lot of PYQs which are related to the recommendation of Finance Commission. We will be discussing those recommendations as well as the PYQs in the next slides. Let us move to the further slide of this news. First of all, what are the key recommendation of the 16th Finance Commission? So basically, there are 2 types of devolution. First is vertical devolution, then horizontal devolution. Vertical devolution means that what is the share of the state in the total taxes. That is the vertical devolution. Then horizontal devolution is how that share is divided among the state. So it decides both vertical devolution as well as the horizontal devolution. So in vertical devolution, it has said that it has recommended that the state share in the divisible pool will remain as 41 as it was there in the 15th Finance Commission as well. So the share for the state in the divisible pool will remain at 41%. Okay, it does not include cess and surcharges. Please be very clear. In the divisible pool, there won't be cess and surcharges. Then about the horizontal devolution. So they have said that the division for the state will be based on some criterias. Okay, you might be hearing about that the southern state are saying that we are paying for the development of the northern states or the weaker state. So they have tried to balance it for some verticals. So first of all, income distance. So in the 15th Finance Commission, it was 45%. Now it is reduced to the 42.5%. What is this income distance? So there will be per capita income for the every state. And suppose there is bigger difference. So this, based on that distance, that this will be paid. Then the population of the year 2011. Previously, it constituted 15%. Now it has increased to 17.5%. Then demographic performance, that how they are controlling the population. It was previously at 12.5%. Now it is 10%. Then the area. the area of the state. For that, previously it was 15%, now it is 10%. Then the forest area of a state. Previously also it was 10%, and now also it is 10%, that how much forest area is there in that state. Then the tax and the fiscal efforts. In the 15th Finance Commission, there was 2.5% allocation based on the taxes and the fiscal efforts. Now it has been removed. Please be very clear that this tax and fiscal efforts has been removed now. There will be no horizontal devolution based on tax and fiscal efforts, but there have been new thing, that is contribution to the GDP. So the state which was saying that we are paying more and we are getting less, for them this has been included, that is contribution to GDP. Suppose a state such as Kerala is contributing more to the national GDP, then Kerala will get more. How much? Around 10%. That is the new inclusion. So the basic two facts which should be remembered here: first, that tax and fiscal efforts are not being included in this new recommendation, and the contribution to GDP has been included. Then other recommendation, path to the macro and the fiscal stability. So they have said that the state fiscal deficit should be kept at the 3% of their respective state GDP. Okay. And they have said that the loan under the special assistance to the state for the capital investment has been excluded. When we were reading about the state fiscal health by the RBI, they have said that the fiscal deficit for the state have been increased by 0.3%, and that increase was due to the special assistance for the state for the capital expenditure. So 16th Finance Commission had said that there should be exclusion of the loan for the special assistance to the state for the capital expenditure or the investment. So these are the key recommendation for this year. The PYQ which are related to this news, first from the prelims of the 2025. The question is, which of the following statement with regard to the recommendation of the 15th Finance Commission of India are correct? First, it has recommended grant of 4,800 crore from the year 2022-23 to the year 2025-26 for incentivizing state to enhance the educational outcome. Then the second statement, 45% of the net proceed of the union taxes are to be shared with the states. When we were discussing about the development, we have said that they have recommended about 41%, which was same in the 15th Finance Commission. So this statement will become wrong. So this option will be eliminated, this option will be eliminated, and even the last option will be eliminated. Then answer will be C. So you don't have to worry about these facts and figures. Okay, UPSC sometimes forms such question where you can solve that question only by applying the basic understanding. Okay, everyone must know about the vertical devolution, that it was 41% in the 15th Commission as well. Okay, and they have also talked about it reintroduces tax effort criteria to reward fiscal performance. So now this has been removed. So the answer is C, 1, 3 and 4. Now let us look at the PYQ from the mains examination. And this is to analyze that how questions are framed on the recommendations of the Finance Commission. First PYQ is from the year 2013. The question is, discuss the recommendation of the 13th Finance Commission which have been a departure from the previous commission for strengthening the local government finances. Then from the year 2021, the question is, how have the recommendation of the 14th Finance Commission of India enabled the state to improve the fiscal position? So these are the two PYQ based on this news. Now let us move to the next main news for today. So the next news is related to the MSMEs. And the context is that the union budget focuses on creating champions MSMEs. And it is also related to paper 3 where syllabus talks about government budgeting. Let us discuss this news. So the development here is that the budget recognized a 3-pronged approach to help MSMEs grow as the champions for the Viksit Bharat. We have to be Viksit Bharat by the year 2047. Before understanding this news, we will understand two things. First, we will be understanding about MSMEs, and then we will be understanding about this trade and the credit guarantee fund trust for the micro and the small enterprises. What about MSMEs? What are those? MSMEs are basically micro, small and medium enterprises. And how they are defined? They are defined based on investment and the turnover. For micro, the investment is up to 1 crore and turnover is up to 5 crores. For small, the investment is up to 10 crores and the turnover is up to 50 crores. And for the medium, the investment is up to 50 crores and the turnover is up to 250 crores. After these, the enterprises become as the large enterprises. And how they are significant? They contribute around 30% to the Indian GDP. They contribute around 45% to the Indian export. That is their significance. Now let us understand about two things. One, trades. Trade receivable discounting system. Basically, suppose I am selling something to someone. Here, me is MSMEs. And I am selling to some company that might be PSU or a private enterprises. So they are selling to these companies. They will be giving them the invoice that we will be paying your dues after the year end. They will be giving them the invoice. But they need the cash. So they can go to the financial intermediaries and can submit those invoices there, and they will provide the cash to the MSMEs. And those PSU and the private company will pay the cash to the financial intermediaries. That is trade receivable discounting system. And it is regulated by RBI. Then credit guarantee fund trust for the micro and the small enterprises. It is clear from the wording as well, but let us understand it. It was set up in the year 2000 by the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises and SIDBI. And under this, it aimed to provide credit guarantee for the credit facilities extended to MSMEs by the member lending institution without collateral and without guarantee. That means they will act like a credit guarantee that they will pay. And if they won't pay, we will pay. Okay, so they does not need collateral or the credit guarantors. This institution will act as a credit guarantee. So this was about trades and credit guarantee fund trust for the micro and small enterprises. Now let us understand this news in detail. First of all, what is this 3-pronged approach which we have discussed in the development? In this, first will be about equity support. So a dedicated 10,000 crore fund, SMEs growth fund, for incentivizing the enterprises based on the selected criteria. So first of all, they will establish a 10,000 SME growth fund. Then they have proposed to top up the Self-Reliant India Fund set up in the year 2021 with 2,000 crores to the micro enterprises. So this is the first approach. Then in the second approach, they have talked about the liquidity support. Under this, they will maximize the potential of the trades. We have discussed about trades platform through 4 specific measures. And what are those specific measures? That we will be discussing in the next slide. First, they have said that there should be mandatory use of the trades. All central public sector enterprises which are purchasing from MSMEs to be settled via trades. Then they have said about the credit guarantee support, and it will be provided by CGTMSC. We have discussed about it, to provide guarantee for the invoice discounting on trade, reducing the lender risk. Okay, when they will provide the credit guarantee, obviously it will reduce the risk for the lenders. Then they have said about the secondary market development. So they have talked about the introduction of trades receivable as the asset-backed security to boost liquidity. Then in the last approach, they have talked about the professional support, and they will be known as the corporate mitras. So basically, they will be aggregated para-professionals who will help MSMEs to meet the compliance requirement at the affordable cost. Sometimes there are various compliances which become difficult for MSMEs to be accomplished with. So these professionals will help MSMEs to meet the compliance requirement at a affordable cost. And the professional institution like ICAI, Institution of Chartered Accountant of India, will facilitate to design short-term modular course to train these professionals. So there will be establishment of these corporate mitras. They will help MSMEs to meet the compliance requirement, and there will be professional institution like ICAI that will facilitate design of short-term module course to train these professionals. So this is the 3 prolonged approach for the MSMEs to make them champion. Now let us discuss PYQ related to this news. The first PYQ is from the prelims examination of 2023. The first statement is, according to the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Act of 2006, the medium enterprises are those with investment in plant machinery between 15 crores and 25 crores. The definition for the MSMEs was different previously, which has been changed, but this criteria is not suitable for the previous as well as the new definition. So this is a wrong statement. Then second statement, all bank loans to MSMEs qualify under the priority sector. That is a correct statement. Then answer will be B2 only. Okay, so with this we have completed this news. Now let us move to the next news for today. The next news is about the integrated program for the textile sector, and it has been announced in the Union Budget of 2026-2027. Again, it is related to paper 3, where syllabus talks about government budgeting. Let us discuss this news as well. First of all, the development. So basically, integrated program is a comprehensive and integrated policy framework that aims to strengthen the entire textile value chain. You might have heard about the 5F vision. What is 5F? Farm to fiber to factory to fashion to foreign. This is the 5F for the textile, and this is the entire textile value chain. From farm, it make fiber. After fiber, it is in the factory, then fashion, then the export, which is known as the foreign. Before understanding this news, please be very clear about some basic facts about textile. India is the second largest producer of the textile. Second largest. The first largest is China. And India is sixth largest exporter. Such types of facts are very important for your prelims examination. Textile is the second largest employer in India, which is the first sector, which is the largest employer in India, that is agriculture. Second largest employer is textile sector. Then 80% of textile manufacturing is done in MSMEs. We have discussed about MSMEs in the last news. So around 80% of the textile production is taken place in MSMEs. So these are some facts regarding textile sector. First, India is the second largest producer, sixth largest exporter. Then textile sector is the second largest employer. Then 80% of textile production takes place in MSMEs. Okay. And this program, integrated program, consists of 5 sub-components. Let us discuss this news further. First of all, what are those 5 sub-components? First is related to the National Fiber Scheme. It aimed at achieving the self-reliance across the fiber spectrum. Okay, we have talked about the 5F vision. In that, second was fiber. And it will support the natural fibers such as silk, wool, jute, man-made fiber and the new ages fiber. Then it will also support the textile export and the employment, which will focus on the modernization of traditional textile cluster. And how it will focus upon them? It will upgrade the technology as well as the machinery. Okay, then there will be a National Handloom and Handicraft program, and all the existing scheme for handloom and the handicraft will be integrated and strengthened under a unified national program. That is the third sub-component. Now let us discuss about the fourth and the fifth component. The fourth component is Textile Eco Initiative. You all might be going through the fast fashion. You might have heard about Judio, Zara and H&M. But when we are going through this fast fashion age, we are producing a lot of greenhouse gases which is hampering the environment. So they talked about the Text Eco Initiative, and it aims to promote globally competitive, environmentally sustainable textile and apparel manufacturing. Then last, it talk about this Samarth 2.0. Basically, Samarth initiative in textile is for the capacity building, and it aims to modernize the textile ecosystem through deeper collaboration with the industry and the academic institution. These were the 5 sub-components under this program. Now let us look at the other initiative which has been talked about in this budget and announced for the textile sector. First, Mahatma Gandhi Gram Swaraj Initiative. And what it is there for? It will aim and it will strengthen the khadi, handloom and the handicraft. And it will focus on global market linkages and branding for khadi, handloom and handicraft. And it will be support the one district, one product. This is an initiative in which there is focus on the one product from the one district, but in some district there are 2 products as well. So it will support the one district, one program initiative. Then Mega Textile Park and technical textile. If you are reading newspaper, you might have read about the 7 new mega textile parks. Okay. And what are technical textile? Basically, these are the textile which are for the specific purposes. Okay, and under this, it will support the growth of the technical textile, which have a huge potential segment critical for the industrial, medicinal, defense, and the infrastructure application. Okay, so all this was there in this news. Let us discuss PYQ related to this news. So PYQ is from the prelims examination of 2020. It is not direct PYQ from this news, but it is indirect. Let us understand it. Consider the following statement. First, the value of Indo-Sri Lanka trade has consistently increased in the last decade. Okay, this question is from 2020. So last decade includes 2011 to 20. But the trade with the Sri Lanka, Indo-Sri Lankan trade, peaked in and around 2014-15 and then reduced. So this statement is wrong. Then textile and textile article constitute an important item of trade between India and Bangladesh. Basically cotton. This is an correct statement. Then in the last 5 years, Nepal has been the largest trading partner of India in South Asia. This is also a wrong statement because at that time, Bangladesh was the largest trading partner. So the answer will be B2 only. Then there is one mains PYQ as well from the year 2013. The question is, analyze the factor for highly decentralized cotton textile industry in India. In this, in the introduction, you can write about the textile sector. In body, you can write about the factor for highly decentralized cotton textile industry. Then in conclusion, you can write about the 5F vision and promotion of the export in the textile sector. And to support your answer, if suppose this question is asked again, you can write about such integrated program. With this, we have completed this news. Now let us move to the next news for today. The next news is about the biomanufacturing. And the context is that the Union Budget has announced Biopharma SHAKTI to position India as the global biomanufacturing hub. It is again related to GS paper 3 where syllabus talks about government budgeting. Let us discuss this news. First of all, the development. The Union Finance Minister has announced the Biopharma SHAKTI. And SHAKTI stands for Strategy for Healthcare Advancement through Knowledge, Technology and Innovation. In this news, we will be covering simple facts about biotechnology, bioeconomy and about this program. Okay, let us start with the bioeconomy part. So bioeconomy uses the renewable sources like plants, animals and microorganisms to produce food, energy and industrial goods. If you go through this year's mains examination, they have asked about the connection of biotechnology and energy security. And if you ask me why this was asked, because last year Bio E3 policy was there in the news. That's why there was a question in the mains examination which was interlinking the biotechnology and the energy security of India. Okay, then India's bioeconomy has grew from USD $10 billion in 2014 to $165 billion in 2024, and we have aimed for US dollars of $300 billion by 2030. And it contributes around 4.25 to the national GDP. It has basically powered by the 4 key subsectors. So there are 4 subsectors mentioned. I will be telling the example for the each to get more clarity. First, bioindustrial, that account for 47%. In bioindustrial, you can count about biofuels. Then biopharma, example is Casper Cas9. Then bioagri, example is BT cotton. Then bioresearch, basically research in this field. So these are the four key subsectors. First, bioindustrial account for 47%, biopharma account for 35%, bioagri account for 8%, and bioresearch account for 9%. In this news, we are focusing on biopharma. Then we will be discussing one PYQ which is directly related to biotechnology and the medicines. Let us discuss this news now in detail. First of all, what is Biopharma SHAKTI? So its objective is to develop India into a global biopharmaceutical manufacturing hub by building the ecosystem for domestic production of biologics and biosimilar. What are these biologics and the biosimilars? Suppose you are using natural and living sources for the medicines, those will be called as biologics to cure some disease. What we are using? We are using the natural and the living sources like animal and plant cells and microorganism. But they are costly in nature. So similar to those, they are biosimilars that are somewhat less costly when compared to the biologics. But they are copies of biologics that are highly similar to biologics and have no clinically meaningful difference from the reference product. So the reference product here is biologics and their cost will be lower. Then the funding is about 10,000 crore for the next 5 years. Okay, let us discuss the other detail of this program. What is the strategy under this program? The strategy is for biopharma focused network with 3 new national institutions of pharmaceutical education and research and upgrading the 7 existing ones. So that means there will be the creation of 3 new national institutions for pharmaceutical education and research, and there will be upgradation in the 7 which are already there. Then there will be creation of network of 1,000 aggregated India clinic trial site. So there will be improvement in the clinical trials. Then strengthening the Central Drug Standard Control Organization to meet the global standard. What is this Central Drugs Standard Control Organization? It is under Ministry of Health, which check the efficacy and the efficiency of the various drugs. Okay. Then what are its potential outcomes? These are given by the government, that what will be the potential outcome of this program. So basically it will catalyze the investment in the advanced biomanufacturing industries, and that will promote the innovation and enhance India's capability in high value and the next generation therapy. You might be knowing that the India is also known as hub for medical tourism. But here they are promoting the innovation and enhance India's capability in high value and the next generation therapies. Then it will enhance the quality and the credibility of the clinical research in India. How? Because they are focusing on the India's clinical trial sites. Then it will develop a highly skilled workforce, promoting the linkage between industry and the academia. These are the potential outcome of this program. Now let us discuss the PYQ which is related to this news. The question is from 2018, from the mains examination. The question is, why is there so much activity in the field of biotechnology in our country? How has this activity benefited the field of biopharma? We have discussed there were 4 components under bioeconomy. One is biopharma. Last year they have asked about the biotechnology and energy security. So whenever you are reading biotechnology, you should be knowing its benefit in biopharma, energy security, sustainable development, and all these factors. Okay, with this, we have completed this news. Let us move to the next news for today. The next news is about the orange economy. Okay. If you are from a very fancy school, there might be labs related to robotics and AI. But mostly in our school, there was the labs related to physics, chemistry, or rarely the computer labs where we used to learn simple MS Word. But now government is focusing on the orange economy, and I will be discussing why I am talking about the labs in this school. Okay, and it is also related to paper 3 where syllabus talks about government budgeting. Now let us discuss the development of this news. So the Union Finance Minister highlighted the orange economy, that is creative economy, in this budget and recognized its role in the employment generation, innovation, export, and the soft power. Okay. When there was the Coldplay contest in the Ahmedabad, then we realized that how much boom a creative economy can create for the growth. Okay, that's why we are focusing a lot on the orange economy. Even the last year, there was a lot of talk regarding the orange economy. Before understanding about the various things which have been talked in the budget, let us understand about the present status or the present state of the orange economy. First of all, globally, the creative economy is estimated to generate an annual revenue of more than 2 trillion and generate around 50 million jobs all over the world. Then, according to UNCTAD, which have estimated that the creative industries contribute around 0.5% and over 7% of GDP across countries. And in India, the size of creative industry is up to 30 billions, and with the employment share of 8% of India's working population. Okay, this is the present state of the orange economy, and in the coming future, there will be increase in the state of the orange economy. Now let us discuss what is the meaning of orange economy. So this term was coined by the former Colombian president known as Avian Duck Marcus and Felipe Birtogo in their book, which was known as the Orange Economy and Infinite Opportunity. So they have coined this term in their book. The name of the book was The Orange Economy and Infinite Opportunity. And how they have defined it? It referred to the knowledge-based economic activities where ideas and creativity are transformed into cultural goods and services. You might be seeing a lot of movies, or you might be consuming content from the videos from the YouTube. That is creative economy. Okay. Unlike traditional manufacturing-led growth, these sectors drive their primary values from ideas, artistic expression, and the cultural capital rather than physical goods. So there is no involvement or production of physical goods which is there in the traditional manufacturing companies. And it includes audiovisual media, that is film, television, live entertainment like music, concert, gaming industry, design, theater, etc. There are other terms which are known as the green economy, white economy, blue economy, and silver economy. Sometimes there can be questions in the mains examination where UPSC will ask about the silver economy. So you should be knowing what are those. First of all, the green economy, it relates to sustainable low carbon energy efficient industries. Then white economy related to health and social care sectors. Blue economy is related to the marine sectors, and silver economy is related to the aging population and the services. Okay, so these are the other colors of economy. And why I am clearing about these things? Because there can be a direct question in the prelims or mains examination question where UPSC will only give these terms. Okay, please explain about white economy, or please explain about silver economy. and what are those their potential. Okay, so you should be knowing about these terms. Now let us discuss about the orange economy and what are the announcement made in the budget. First of all, the budget talks about AVGC, which is animation, VFX, gaming and comics sectors. And it said that there will support to Indian Institution of Creative Technology, Mumbai, in setting of these content creator labs in 15,000 secondary school and 500 colleges. That's why I talked about the labs in the starting of this news. So there will be creation of 15,000 secondary school labs related to animation, VFX, gaming and comics, and around 500 labs in the colleges. Then there will be establishment of a new National Institution of Design in the eastern region through the challenge route. And India currently has 7 NIDS, all recognized as institution of national importance. Okay, so with this we have completed this news. There is no direct PYQ which is related to this news. So now let us discuss the last main news for today. The last main news for today is about the Bharat-VISTAAR. And the context is that in the recent union budget, it has been proposed to launch the Bharat-VISTAAR for agriculture development. Here, it is also related to paper 3 where syllabus talks about government budgeting. Let us discuss this news. First of all, the development. What does this VISTAAR stand for? It stands for virtually integrated system to access agriculture resources. And it will be a multilingual AI tool that will integrate the AgriStack portal and the ICAR package on agriculture practices with the system of AI. So basically, this AgriStack has been envisaged as the digital public infrastructure. What is this digital public infrastructure, DPI? It is there in the news a lot of time. Whenever you think about infrastructure, you think about roads, building. But in digital public infrastructure, it is about the digital platform such as UPI. Okay, so that is under digital public infrastructure. Another example is Aadhaar. And it will be based on India's digital ecosystem architecture, which include DigiLocker, Aadhaar, and UPI. Okay. With this, we have understood about the development. Let us move further in this news. So what is this Bharat-VISTAAR? It is an open, interoperable and federated public network dedicated to agriculture information and the advisory services. Basically, all the information which is related to agriculture and the services, advisory services will be provided here. And it will act as a decentralized repository and which will facilitate the discovery and fulfillment of the verified agriculture content, best practices and agri-skilling. Okay, so basically overall improvement of the agriculture sector. And its potential significance, as this has been proposed, it will enhance the farm productivity through data-driven and the timely intervention. Why this is important? Because whenever we are producing anything in the agriculture, sometimes there is lack of information regarding the seeds, regarding the climate. So it will enhance the farm productivity by data-driven and the timely interventions. Then it will improve the farmer decision-making at every state. You might be knowing about the cobweb phenomena in the agriculture. Sometimes there will be the large production and sometimes there will be the less production. How that is happening? Suppose this year the price of onions are very high, but the production is low. So next year what farmer will do? They will produce a lot of onion, but the price of that onion will be lower in that year. that is known as cobweb phenomena in the agriculture. So it will try to remove that, and it will improve the farmer's decision making at every stage from pre-harvesting to the post-harvesting and the selling. Then it will reduce the market risk by customized crop and region specific advisory support. That means it will provide support to customize as well as the crop as well as the region specific advisory. Then it will support the government in real time monitoring related to agriculture. Okay, now let us move further in this news and discuss about how does this Vistar enhances the information access. What does a farmer need? He or she need advisory on the land practices. He needs advisory on the nutrition management and the input application. He and she also need access to the inputs and pest and the disease monitoring and the mitigation. And how they will be provided? They will be provided through chat box, okay, inform video and resource system, web portals and Flow. And what does this Vistar open network of network include? It will include information from AgriStack. It will include information from the IMD, which will provide forecast, alert, and the agroclimate advisory. It will include information from the state content, which will provide information about the pest management practices sourced through PAUs. Then it will have other data as well, such as agro dealer, input supplier, testing labs and other things. Then it will have also information about the private content, which is agri content curated and offered by the private companies. So all this information will be there in this, and that will be provided to the farmer at every stages. Okay. So with this, we have completed this news. Now let us discuss PYQ related to this news. So first of all, let's be very clear, in every mains examination, you will be reading or you might be going through the questions which are there from the agricultures and the farm produce. So in 2025, there was a question which was elaborate the scope and significance of the supply chain management of agriculture commodities in India. This is the question, and in 1 or 2 points you can write about this Bharat-VISTAAR to enhance the supply chain management of agriculture commodity in India. Okay, with this we have completed the main news discussion for today. Now let us discuss the quick update for today. The first quick update for today is about the Mercury as a planet. Okay, and the context here is that the analysis from the data from the NASA's MESSENGER has said that the numerous bright streaks that looks like traces left by the gas escaping from the beneath the crust of the Mercury. So this context is not that important, but here the MESSENGER spacecraft and the Mercury planet is important. In the last 2-3 years, you will be noticing there are a lot of questions in and around about the universe. First of all, about the MESSENGER spacecraft. So it was launched by NASA, and it was the first spacecraft to orbit the Mercury. And what are its key discoveries? The key discoveries include it has confirmed about the water ice in the shadowed craters and established that it has a large iron-rich core. Due to these iron-rich core, its density, the Mercury density, is the second highest. And which planet has the highest density? It is Earth. Okay, please be very clear. Mercury is the second dense planet, and the densest planet is Earth. And it is the fastest, smallest, second densest, and the closest planet to the Sun. Okay, and it doesn't have a thick atmosphere but only a thin exosphere. Why it does not have a thick atmosphere? Because it is very near to the Sun. Then it has no moons or rings. The same reason, it is very near to the Sun. Okay, with this we have completed this quick update. Let us move to the next quick update for today. The next quick update for today is about Cellforce. And what is the news? The news is that the doctor have demonstrated the major breakthrough in the treatment of sulfose poisoning by the intravenous lipid emulsion therapy. That is the context. Let us understand about this disease. So basically, aluminium phosphide is commonly known as sulfose. And why this is a disease? It is a disease because aluminium phosphide is a grain fumigant that releases deadly phosphine gas upon ingestion. And what is a fumigant? It is a highly toxic, volatile chemical compound which is used in a gaseous form to kill pests in the enclosed space, soil, or a stored products. So in the states where there is a loss of agriculture production, there is use of this aluminium phosphide as a grain fumigant, and sometimes it comes in contact with the human. That's why this disease is sulfose. Now let us discuss the next quick update. The next quick update is about the Rafah crossing. And the context is that the Gaza's Rafah crossing border has partially reopened after being largely shut since it was seized by Israel 2 years ago. Okay, and it is located between Egypt and the Gaza Strip. Okay, please look at the map. It is there on the southern border, and it is with the Egypt, at the Egyptian border. And it is the southernmost post exists from the Gaza and border the Egyptian Sinai Peninsula. Okay, so here there are two information which is important. First, that the Gaza Strip border with the Egypt, and particularly this Sinai Peninsula. So this is the part of Egypt. Then the Rafah crossing into Egypt is the only border access for the territory that does not pass through the Israel. So this is very important for the Gaza Strip, as this is the only border that does not passes through the territory of the Israel. Then there are only two other border crossing from into the Gaza Strip. One is Erez, a crossing into Israel in northern Gaza, which is for the people. Then Kerem Shalom, it is a solely commercial goods junction between Israel and the southern Gaza. So this was about Rafah crossing. Now let us discuss the next quick update. The next quick update is about Al-Jawf region. And it is an interior desert that has saw snow for the first time on the record. And please look at this map. It is located here in the Saudi Arabia. Sometime UPSC asks about the match of the following, that this region is from this country. So it is located in the northern Saudi Arabia and one of the 13 administrative region of Saudi Arabia. It is the capital of the Saudi Arabia, that is Riyadh. Then it lies in the northern edge of the Al-Nufud desert. It is here and it is at the northern border of that desert. Then an ancient route for trade and pilgrimage have between the Arabian region, Levant and the Egypt. So here is the Arabian region, here is the Levant, this is Egypt. So it acts as a ancient route between them. And what are its notable feature? There is a Daumat al-Jandal lake which lies north to this region, and that is the largest lake of Saudi Arabia. It lies somewhere here. Whenever there is a map-based question, please look at the maps and in and around regions of that map. So the next quick update is about Donetsk region. And the context here is that the control over the remaining Ukrainian-held area of the Donetsk region has emerged as the key unresolved issue in the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, and especially in the peace negotiation. This region has emerged as a key issue. And in this news, we will be learning about this region, as the regions which are in conflict are often asked in the UPSC examination. Here please have a look over this region. Here it is Black Sea, here it is Sea of Azov. Okay, and it is located in eastern Ukraine, and it is one of the two regions of the Donbass, and other is Luhansk. And what are its border? One is Sea of Azov, which is connected to Black Sea through the Strait of Kerch, and to this, that is in the south, and Russia is in the east. And it is rich in coal and the shale gas, as well as in the salt reserve. So this was about this region. Now let us move to the next quick update for today. The next quick update is about the minimum alternate tax. And what is the context? The context is that the recent budget has proposed the making of the minimum alternative tax as a final tax and reduced its rate from the 15% to 14%. Presently, MAT is at 15%. Now it will be to the 14%. And it is a tax that requires a company to pay a minimum amount of its book profit when its nominal income tax liability is minimum or zero. But it used to happen previously that the companies used to show book profit, also pay dividend to the shareholders, but they did not used to pay the corporate tax to the government by showing various losses and the other lacunas or the incomings. So that was MAT was introduced, and a company is required to pay higher of the either, that is MAT or the corporate tax. So whichever will be the higher, they have to pay either the MAT or the corporate tax. And it was levied under the Income Tax Act of 1961. And it is applicable to both domestic as well as the foreign companies, as well as to the private companies or the PSUs. So with this, we have completed the News Today discussion for today. To read further about the current affairs initiative of the Vision IAS, you can visit the Digital Current Affairs website, and please solve the questions which are visible on your screen. Thank you and all the best for your preparation.